Hey guys, welcome back to Trailer Talks. A new episode, new day, new everything. With me, once again, Jaron. I think you're going to be a usual for Trailer Talks now that I'm thinking about it.
Seems like it.
You've been here for the first 3 episodes, so I feel you're going to be a new one. So this week for Trailer Talks, we're going to be discussing Star Wars The Force Awakens, which came out technically 2 years ago. But it's going to be leading up to the Star Wars The Last Jedi trailer, as well as Pacific Rim Uprising. If you can't tell by the title of this video, that's why. We're talking about those 3 in particular.
He's been really active recently.
He has been, especially with the Pacific Rim and the Star Wars movies and all that. He's been out and about.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing that, as well as doing our review for Star Wars episodes 4, 5, and 6, or if you want to be technical, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Last Jedi, because technically they're 1, 2, 3, even though they're 4, 5, 6. Didn't I just say that?
You said Last Jedi.
Oh, my bad. Return of the Jedi. Yeah, so technically it's the 4, 5, and 6, but I mean they're the first ones, and not gonna get into technicalities. That's for another day. So we're gonna timelines, and then there's Barry Allen running around screwing up timelines.
Goddamn Barry.
Yeah, but not here. Not on Trailer Talks. That's a whole different thing. So to start off all this, we're gonna go ahead and go right into the reviews. We'll start off with the reviews, discuss what we think about the movies, like I normally would, and then from there we'll go into Trailer Talks. Watch some trailers, sit back, relax, and have some discussions. Don't forget to leave comments and concerns, questions, thoughts,
discussions.
I think I said discussions. Anyways, you guys get the idea, so let's just jump right into it. So Star Wars A New Hope was directed by George Lucas and brings the Star Wars world to life back in the 70s with the whole Rebel Alliance going up against the Empire. Darth Vader is trying to get these plans that were stolen by the Rebels to make sure that the Rebels don't screw over his plans, while we get a look at Mark Hamill's Luke Skywalker, who is now on his way to becoming basically this Jedi throughout the entire trilogy, first trilogy. And so this movie just kind of introduces all the characters and basically sets the world up. So my thoughts on this movie are, it's a good movie to start things going with how it was technically originally supposed to be. I don't know why I'm doing so many air quotes with that. With the way it was supposed to be. But I feel that, with that said, this movie is very slow.
It is. It's a very slow movie because it's got a lot of exposition. Mm-hmm. And, like you said, it does a lot of world building. Right off the bat. And
there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel that it shouldn't have been a movie that was specifically world building, because there's so much that they have to discuss in this movie just to help you understand the next 2 movies. So really, I mean, technically you have to watch this movie in order to understand 5 and 6, but to me, honestly, this movie kind of feels like Alien, the first Alien movie, where there's a lot of exposition, there's a lot of the world building stuff, and there's not much that's happening per se,
right?
Because they're trying to get everything set up for more to come.
Yeah. And
I feel that was the biggest struggle with this movie, or in my opinion, to the way that I would like it, I guess, because I'm not a fan of this movie too much. I know it's an original, it's a classic, but it's too slow, is my personal opinion. Mm-hmm. What about you?
I enjoy it, but after seeing it so many times, as a kid, and loving it to death, when I watch it now, kind of more from an analytic standpoint, this movie hasn't aged well.
It has not. Admittedly, it's in the 70s, so the visuals and the green screens and the sets and everything is just kind of bad. But given the fact that, once again, this is the 70s, it was the most that they worked with.
Yeah, and honestly, given what they had for a low budget film, it held up pretty decently.
It was 10 million, 13 million is what I read. It sounds like a lot, but that's actually a really low budget. That's like Blumhouse production budget. Because they made The Purge on 10 million.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And given what they had, they did a decent job at least getting the story they wanted to tell out there.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was gonna say something about the CGI. Oh yeah, Jabba. That.
Well, it's not just with Jabba. It's with a lot of the creatures of this movie. It's just you can tell they're very CGI'd. If they're not wearing, you can tell the difference between if they're in a costume or if they're CGI'd. Jabba is one of those examples.
I know what Lucas wanted to do when he did the re-edits and the re-releases, but it didn't do A New Hope any justice whatsoever.
Not at all. So, this movie has Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, rest in peace, Mark Hamill, and just a wide variety of cast that I actually don't remember.
My boy, James Earl Jones, come on.
And James Earl Jones. You don't really see much of James Earl Jones. You see him every now and then.
No, but you hear him, and that's what matters.
James Earl Jones. And so the cast and the talent for this movie was a very good choice because they were young. They were really young back then. So they were young. They were adventurous. It was a new talent, and so.
And honestly, that actually worked for the heroes' favor because they got to at least Han and Luke got to work really closely with Sir Alec Guinness.
Yes.
Who is an acting legend. Yeah. Well, considered an acting legend.
Was. Still kind of is.
Yeah.
Back in his day.
Because I think he has a really large theater background. And.
Well, I mean, if he's been knighted, then.
Well.
It probably does.
Yeah.
If he was able to become knighted, he would probably.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah. And, I actually read a story about when they were first filming where Mark Hamill was like really nervous on set around Alec because he was around Alec Guinness. Alec Guinness actually slapped Mark Hamill and told him, I'm just a person. You and I are just people. Let's act like people.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, and that's with most celebrities. They don't want to be treated like they're all high. Well, most don't want to be treated like they're all high and mighty. They just want to be treated like normal people because they don't want all that, like,
paparazzi
BS going around and stuff. So, again, like I was saying, the talent for this movie was actually really good. I enjoyed how young they were because it gave them this big opportunity to go farther with their careers. One thing I wanted to discuss with this was that this movie really focuses on something that we writers like to call the hero's journey.
Yep. Heard that a million times.
Yeah, because only at Full Sail do they tell you about it in pretty much every single class you have except for math. Yeah, well, and science. But we don't talk about those classes because they were kind of irrelevant. But the hero's journey, basically, it starts off with there's the hero. They meet the mentor. Then they gradually go up into this crisis that's happening. And this, big, not really fight, but this big altercation, and then there's the falling action, which kind of is all hope is lost kind of thing, and then it goes back to their success. That's the dumbed down version of it, pretty much.
And this movie is literally step by step the hero's journey.
Like if you looked up on the computer hero's journey and you saw and you understood it and you had the chart in front of you. As you were watching the movie, you'd be able to you'd
be able to plot it out.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, you'd be able to plot it out perfectly. And a lot of movies nowadays don't really do that because by this time, with a lot of movies,
I mean, I think a lot of movies this time do, but they just do a better job at hiding it.
Fair enough, but then there are those movies that don't really do it due to the fact that they already have their world built up.
Right.
Kingsman. That's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
The first Kingsman movie was definitely the hero's journey about him building up and all that, meeting the mentor and everything else. The second one, which came out earlier this year, didn't really have that hero's journey due to the fact that there wasn't really much of the hero's journey going because he's already met his mentor and all that. So it's just a continuation. A lot of sequels actually really don't follow the hero's journey because of the fact that they've already done. I mean,
that's just like an anthology series where it's to be continued.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, to be a continued thing. definitely, but most sequels like Guardians of the Galaxy 2 or
Right,
Kingsman, Golden Circle, or pretty much any Marvel movie, really. Almost every Marvel movie.
Pretty much.
They don't really have the whole hero's journey like the first Star Wars movie did, due to the fact that they've already established it so much, and a lot of movies have already established it into our brains that we just kind of know. So they're like, okay, well, that's kind of an old idea. Throw it out the window.
Right.
And so I like the fact that this movie follows it very closely because of it's an old lesson. It's an old lesson that still works with everything going on today, and Star Wars is definitely a good example of that. Let's talk about the production design, the sound, the visuals a bit more.
For the most part, I liked like the set design.
The set design,
Set designs are done really well.
Definitely.
And like I said earlier, I like how they used the most out of their low budget, and they did a really good job with the space fights because they used miniatures on a backdrop, and that's how they pulled that off.
Those were always pretty interesting to me. They definitely pulled it off in Aliens. They've done it in a lot of other movies back in that day. I always found it interesting when they used the miniatures. I've also found it interesting. I found it kind of boring at the same time, due to the fact that you can tell they're miniatures based on their movements.
Yeah.
So,
but honestly, I don't mind that. I actually find that.
Or if it's on a wire, you can tell it's on a wire based on the movements of it. And I mean, I don't mind that at all. But like knowing, like with the older movies, knowing that in my mind and just watching the movie, it kind of takes away the whole thought process of, oh, this is a really cool world going on because of that.
And honestly, I don't think a lot of like the special effects and stuff were really in Lucas's mind when he wanted to make this movie. He just wanted his story to go.
Yeah.
And
especially with what you told me earlier about how he didn't think the movie was going to succeed.
When he finished the final cut of the movie and he watched it, he felt it was going to fail. And he actually left America, I think, to go to his vacation home. I think it's like in Hawaii or something. And
he left America to go to his vacation home in Hawaii.
It was some island. I don't know.
Yeah, it better not be Hawaii because it's part of America.
Okay, smartass. Anyway, he left the country to wait for it to all blow over. Then when he came back, he found the huge success that it did, and he was very surprised.
Yeah. So, I think due to all the content we have to cover today, I think that we've covered enough with this movie. In conclusion, with Star Wars A New Hope, this movie definitely follows the hero's journey. It's definitely a good story-building movie for what is to come. However, I feel that it's very limited due to a small budget, when the visuals of it, which could in today's day and age be very boring to people.
Yeah.
But overall, this is a pretty good movie, I think, due to how old it is and how well it follows the story. I think I'd probably have to give this movie a B+.
Yeah, I'd give it around the same.
Because it's not I'm gonna be honest, it's not A material. It could have been much better, but because of how much world building there is in this movie, there's not really enough time to give us that eye candy that people want in today's day and age. So I'm gonna give A New Hope a B+. Let's talk about the next movie.
Now, 1 second. There's nothing to talk about. This is a perfect movie.
This is a perfect movie. This is a very good movie. Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back takes place right after... Okay, not right after, but it takes place...
about a couple months, maybe a year or two? Would you say? Would you say a couple months?
About maybe 6 months, probably.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Anyways, it takes place a while after Episode 1, and it's now following Luke Moore on his journey to becoming a Jedi as he meets with another Jedi Master. He learns about the Force, and he goes to confront Darth Vader in person. Pretty much to sum up this movie in one sentence. Yeah. This movie actually has everything that you want. It follows the hero's journey once again very, very well. There's a lot of action sequences in this movie that The New Hope did not have in it. There's very good acting done by, once again, Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill's my man. Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher, rest in peace again. Very missed. Why you left us too soon? By all of those people and more. And yes, freaking him again. He was actually in this movie a lot more.
Yeah, because this movie focused more on the Empire side of things. Well, kind of.
This movie focused on the conflict going on between Luke and Vader.
Yeah.
Especially. And so, again, like I said, this movie follows the hero's journey perfectly, wherein with meeting the mentor, with pretty much, it starts off, he's kind of nothing. He is beaten up and he's hanging in ice.
Yep.
Then from there, there's the fights that go on. There's this meeting the mentor again, so he's training to be the Jedi that his father was, and it just keeps going from there. And this movie follows that hero's journey once again, step by step, very perfectly. Although it is just a tad bit more hidden in this movie, I think.
Yeah.
Than
and I think that was due to the fact that they got an actual director to direct it. Well, no, not to rip on Lucas, but it's just Lucas wrote the story, but he's not sorry, Lucas, but he's not a very good director.
No, he's not. Wait, who? Do you know who directed?
I don't know the name off the top of my head.
I don't remember who directed this film. I forgot to look that up. Cause we just watched.
We just finished it.
The 4, 5, and 6 today.
Yeah, but it was someone else who directed 5 and 6.
Okay. Yeah, we started this movie way early. We started these movies way earlier today, and we had to speed up quickly through some of them
and we didn't catch the credits.
Yeah, we didn't catch the credits because we wanted to see you guys. We wanted to get on here and get going.
We love you guys.
Yeah, we do. We hope you love us back. If not, then why are you watching? No, I'm kidding. Excuse me. So, like I said, here's Journey once again. The acting and the talent, they came back. They were perfect.
I also have to praise Frank Oz. You're a god. You are perfect.
I have to remember who Frank Oz played.
The puppeteer who did Yoda and the voice for Yoda.
Oh yeah.
You're a god.
I don't like Puppet Yoda.
You don't like Puppet Yoda?
Cine Gaming. Hey guys. Hey, welcome back. Yeah, no, I mean, it's not. Let me rephrase this. I don't like Puppet Yoda not because he's a puppet and all that. I don't like Puppet Yoda because seeing him the way he is in that movie after watching the second trilogy of 1, 2, 3, seeing what he's become is just kind of depressing. Because he was this big, grand Jedi master who was a badass and he was very wise. Then you see him in episode 5 and he's kind of like a hermit, kind of like a crazy hermit person who talks gibberish. And then, yeah, he knows what he's talking about and he kind of has that serious side. But when you first meet him, he's just like this crazy loon.
I think that was trying to test Luke's patience. Because remember when they got to the hut, he was like, yeah, he has no patience. This isn't going to work. But then Obi-Wan convinced him.
Yeah. I don't know.
I love Puppet Yoda. Mainly because...
Puppet Yoda looks like 24/7 high. He looks super high throughout the whole movie.
I mean, he lives in nature.
No, he lives in Florida.
Yes.
He lives on Dagobah, the planet of Florida.
Yep.
If Florida were to become... If Florida was a planet, that would be the planet.
Yep.
I will continue to diss on Florida as much as I want.
But I actually like Puppet Yoda mainly because of the X-Wing scene when he was...
yeah.
That was a very powerful moment.
That was very... Words that I can't speak today, apparently. That was a very powerful moment because you just see how somebody so old and so frail...
Yeah.
It still has so much power and pretty much it's just it's like... Don't judge someone based on how they look. Don't underestimate somebody. And that's a very powerful message to anyone.
And even
really.
the whole, just because it looks impossible doesn't mean it is impossible message. There were a bunch of messages within that dialogue.
And that was another thing with this movie. It had so many messages in this movie, unlike, I think, the first movie, where it didn't really have too many messages. Like, they were kind of hidden in there, but this one was more focused on actually telling you what the message was.
Right.
And for a lot of people, that's like a huge thing because then they can take that, they can, sink that in, take it with them wherever they go. Let's talk about big jump here, big segue. Let's talk about the visuals for this one. Obviously, this is the 80s now in this movie, so they're smidge better, not too much better.
See, I have a love-hate with them because some of the effects didn't look very good.
No.
But there were other times with like the environments where they actually took paintings and just used that as the backdrop.
Cloud City.
Cloud City was literally a painting.
It was beautiful though.
And yeah, like
whoever the artist was for that, kudos to you, dude. You did an amazing job with that. I salute you.
And although, to be fair though, even though they look beautiful, it was a bit distracting when you could tell immediately, like, oh, that's just a backdrop.
Yeah, and I think it was this movie, or it was 6. One of these movies, I think it was this movie, they had a moment where you could tell that, like, it was all, it was this movie. It was all like a model kind of a thing. There were models set up and all that, and it looked like it was kind of there. Then it cut away, and then when it cut back to that, it was a painting.
No, that was 6, because that was when Han and Lando were giving off the Falcon. One scene you see the Falcon there as the model, then literally next cut, it's the painting.
I'll mention that again when we go back, when we go to 6. But, yeah, I mean, like, a lot of it was, like, there was a lot of paintings and such, and it could be distracting at times, because knowing that kind of a thing, it was, knowing that it was a painting and all that, compared to if it was, like, a visual effect, like the ATSTs.
Right.
Where you could tell that was, like, stop motion.
And I have to say, whoever did that, like, good job.
You had so much patience for that.
I couldn't have been able to get through that. So much patience for that.
Yeah, for real. The stop motion in this is very... You could tell it's stop motion, but it takes a lot of patience to do it.
It looks realistic stop motion, though.
Yeah.
Like,
it kind of reminded me of I think I mentioned this with episode 6 also. It reminds me of Beetlejuice, where there was a lot of, like, stop motion-y kind of things that were happening, and you could tell it was stop motion, but it was good stop motion. And there's nothing wrong with good stop motion. Like Wallace and Gromit, that's good stop motion. Yo, Wallace and Gromit, I need to watch those again. Completely sidetracked, though. So Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, it's a great movie. There's a lot of action scenes in it. It definitely makes up for what episode 4 did.
Plus, one thing that you guys did that was amazing. You fixed the Darth Vader mask.
You did fix the Darth Vader mask.
The New Hope Darth Vader mask was garbage.
We don't talk about that. So, this movie is great, obviously. There are the minor nitpicks for this movie, but I'm gonna have to give this movie an A. I don't think it's plus.
See, for me, it's A+. This is my favorite Star Wars movie, and it does have flaws, but I'm able to get over them. Like honestly, the flaws to me are just nitpicks for me.
Yeah.
And like I don't feel it weighs it down that much.
Oh yeah, I mean it doesn't weigh it down hardly at all, but I don't think it's necessarily. I wouldn't say that's plus material. It's very close. Like, if they fixed some of the moments where there was, like, the painting difference with the regular, like, drop, like the green screen drop.
And also, just, I feel like this is a really good example of what sequels should strive to be.
They should be better than what they were.
And that's why I give it an A+, because this is the thing that you should look at for examples of how to make a sequel. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Alright. So, Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, this will be the third one I give. I'm going to give it an A+. This is going to be the third A+ I give this year. First one was War for the Planet. Second one was Thor Ragnarok.
Both amazing movies.
Both amazing movies. Both very hardly flawed. Hardly flawed. So, let's talk about Return of the Jedi.
There you go.
I almost said Revenge. No, I almost said Last. I had the process. Return of the Jedi. So this movie is the third movie in the original sequel, and at this point, Luke Skywalker is now a Jedi. He's going to save his friends and take on the Emperor, who is Darth Vader's master, who's pretty much the orchestrator for all of this.
Puppets dance.
Yeah, pretty much. Dance, puppet Yoda, dance!
Yes.
So, this movie, it takes place... It's got to be at least a year or two after...
I feel like...
At least a year after Episode 5, because there's so much that happens. Like in 5, spoiler alert...
It's got to be more than a year, though.
It's got to be at least 1 year.
Yeah.
But like in Episode 5, spoiler alert, Luke gets his hand cut off, so he has to get a new one. So by this time, in Episode 6, he's learned the ways of the Force better. He knows how to use a lightsaber better. He's gotten used to his robotic hand. It's got to be at least 1 year.
Yeah. And plus, like, I don't even think we need to say spoiler word. I mean, this series is like, what, 30 years old at this point?
You know, there are people that have not watched it. Erica is one of those people. She's never seen Star Wars.
True. Alright, never mind.
Anyways, so once again, they bring back all the original actors for this movie. My biggest thing that I noticed with this movie was Mark Hamill's role in this movie. Mm-hmm. He did not seem as excited or as amused as he was in the first two movies, and it was because of what you told me.
Yeah, because shortly before shooting Return of the Jedi, he got in a really bad car accident which messed up his face, and so they had to do some surgery on him. And they tried their best to cover what was up, but you can tell Mark Hamill was just dismotivated, and he felt. I think he's even gone on record and said that he didn't feel like he could act ever again, which is probably why he moved over to voice work shortly after Return of the Jedi. His Joker is perfect.
I love his Joker. Oh wow, Joker. Other side.
Oh,
Joker. Yeah, I love Mark Hamill's Joker and the Trickster and pretty much every role Mark Hamill's been in. I don't think he's ever been in one bad role. I don't think I've ever seen him in a bad role.
I don't think so either.
I dare you guys to comment a bad role that Mark Hamill's been in. I double dare you. Leave it in the comments if you can think of one. But yeah, so like I said, like we were saying, that this movie, the other actors seemed like they were relatively motivated to do this movie. I kind of thought they seemed like they were just kind of done at this point.
Yeah,
they were
especially Harrison Ford.
Mm-hmm.
He's even gone on record saying how he wanted Han to die in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, it just, by this time, they've had 3 movies. They were just probably done because they're just... It's that moment where, like, you do so many movies that you're just kind of like, you've done too many, just stop.
Yeah.
Star Wars is kind of one of those movies, but, I mean, it's kind of been doing well, especially it's been doing relatively decent with Rogue One and 7 and 8 coming up soon.
I mean, that's because...
Which we will be discussing in trailer talks.
That's because Star Wars is a money machine. Yeah. The license is a money machine.
Well, it is now because Disney.
It's always been a money machine.
Well, now it's an even bigger money machine because Disney. Because Disney has to rule the world. So, the visuals in this movie and the sound in this movie were... better?
I would honestly say so, especially the lightsaber animations.
The lightsaber... Except for that one scene where the lightsaber was going through the bar.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
The lightsaber visuals were much better for this. The visuals in general... this movie was in 1987, I think.
That sounds right.
From what I saw, I think it was in 1987, so it definitely had much more time. It was like
87 or 88.
Something like that. So it had much more time from the second movie, from 83 to 87. They had like 4 years to develop their CGI better and all that. So even
Luckily, they got rid of the Jabba CGI. Thank God. Thank you.
But from what it sounded like, that suit...
Oh yeah, that was a...
They probably should have just done a better job with the CGI for Jabba.
Well, no.
That's an insane suit to be able to...
Well, no, you see, Jabba didn't even show up in A New Hope originally.
Oh, was that like an extended?
That was part of the edits. The CG Jabba was part of the edits.
That's why I know. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking back to my early childhood when I saw that. I'm like, wait. I don't ever remember this scene.
That's because it wasn't in the original cut of the movie.
Then why the hell they put it in?
Because he thought it would make it better?
No. Dear George Lucas, leave a movie the way it is.
And
Dear George Lucas, let somebody else direct your movie.
And then when Return of the Jedi came around, Jabba stayed the same. He was still a suit with like 3 people inside and
like 27
other people
controlling him,
helping control him, which is nuts.
Hence why he hardly ever moved.
Yeah,
from his chair. Aside from the fact that he's fat and lazy. Now, a lot of people know about the let's go about the costumes a little bit, because everybody knows the slave suit Leia, or everybody should know.
Yeah.
I think I just wanted to mention that. I mean, no, I'm kidding. Aside from the fact of the slave suit Leia being a very good costume design, the costume designs in this movie throughout were actually very well done. Mm-hmm. The Vader suit was a little bit better. The Emperor looked very nice with the makeup and the costume design. Oh, I had a little thing pop up. Train of thought. Oh, all the other, like Boba Fett, he looked much better in this. The other bounty hunters looked better. Pretty much everybody that was on Tatooine at the time, like all the slave people and the smugglers, all their costumes looked amazing in this movie, including the whole Admiral Adbar thing. It's a trap! We didn't even plan that. So, we're going to keep this one minorly short because it's just, we're pretty much discussing the same thing that we were in the last two movies, pretty much. The whole
I will have to say, Return's right. You get extra points from being from my homeland, Arizona.
The more you know. So, Star Wars, not the last, Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi. I'm going to get it someday. Return of the Jedi is a great movie. It's much better than...
the final fight. Lightsaber fight.
Oh, yeah. So, in the other two Star Wars movies, you mentioned this, was that they followed some sort of a samurai duel.
Yeah.
You discuss it, because you know more about the
Because A New Hope was actually pretty much a recreation of a classic Japanese movie by Akira Kurosawa. I don't remember the name of the movie.
I won't even remember the name of the dude.
He's a legendary Japanese film director. Okay, anyway. And Lucas, the whole lore behind the Jedi and stuff, it follows a lot of, like, samurai culture and stuff. Okay. And that's why a lot of the early lightsaber duels, it's just, like, two dudes just kind of waiting there and just tapping. Because that's actually how samurai duels go down. Movies will mislead you.
Yeah, and so it did it in episode 4, and it did it in episode 5 as well.
Yes.
It was a little bit less. It was a bit more lenient to a very minor extent. But for the most part, followed that. Episode 6 literally took that idea, crumpled it up, and put it in the garbage can. And they had their own style, which is
they kind of kept to it to a point, but they added their own spin to it.
I thought it was more like a fencing kind of style.
It did look more like fencing, you're right.
And that's what 1, 2, and 3 follow more, is the whole fencing style.
Right,
of
especially
swords. With Count Dooku. Oh, Count Dooku. Count Dooku is... He's the rapier. Like,
yes.
He's a epee fencer, from what it looks like.
Yeah.
I was in fencing. I did epee. The more you know. It's pretty much... That form of fencing, there's 3 forms. We're going to kind of go on a sidetrack. There's 3 forms. There's... saber, epee, and I don't remember the third one. It was one that I didn't really bother with.
I took saber fencing.
Yeah, so saber is one where you have like this metal or this silver like chess piece, and the point is to hit, like slash at it at this, and you get points from it. Epee, which is what I did, was more of the manner of getting your opponent's blade out of the way and thrusting. So like rapier, like with a rapier, so you hit them with the tip. And you get points from that. The third one, saber.
It's a combination of the both, isn't
it? It is, but it takes a turn base. So like one person does a turn kind of thing, which gives the other person the counter turn.
Okay,
but it's helmet and chest only.
I don't know. I don't know.
Because with epee, everything's a target in epee, so you can hit him in the toe, which I got hit in the toe several times in epee.
That must hurt.
There was somebody who was very famous for going down, like going in and then going straight down and hitting your toe and getting the point for it.
Reminds me of Raphael from Soul Calibur.
Oh, yeah, she was very good at that. So yeah, pretty much everything's target. Saber, I think it's the bib, like the giant bib thing that you have to protect your neck and the chest, and then foil. That's what it was. Foil is the helmet and the chest, and then it's turn based. Okay. So yeah, you just learned a lesson about fencing.
And we had a point to this. The lightsaber combat in
1, 2, and 3
followed
followed more of that, and that's also with 6, episode 6. Return of the Jedi, we're just gonna say.
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi followed more of that fencing style and took away the whole samurai style of the turn-based kind of waiting for your opponent, and was more of a still kind of turn-based, but it's more of a aggressive style of swordsmanship. And so I really like that a lot. I'm a fan of the aggressive swordplay. So Star Wars Return of the Jedi, I had to pause for a moment. It's a great movie. It does a lot better than episode 4. It's not as good as episode 5. It is one of my favorites of the original. I think it has to come in number 2 for me also. It follows everything well. The acting is a bit low. Like, it's a bit weaker than in the other movie, or than in episode 5, but it's still good acting. Everything in this movie is still very good. I have to give it an A-.
Yeah, I give it an A- as well. That's
because we got New Hope at B+, because it's a story-building one. Yeah. We got Empire Strikes Back, which is perfect. And then we got this one who is just kind of... It doesn't meet that expectation of a triquel?
Okay.
Yeah. Call it, because we got original, sequel. Can't be a sequel. So we'll call it... We'll make up a new word, triquel. So the triquel, I mean, normally it's supposed to be like, bigger is better. It has to be better than the last movie. Mm-hmm. And this movie just didn't really have that.
You can tell they tried, though. They
tried. They definitely... You could tell they tried a lot to get that. But they couldn't pull it off. It's just one of those things where it happens. Yeah. You know? When you make a movie that's so good before you make this one, it's very hard to meet those expectations. So so we're gonna give Return of the Jedi an A-. So now we got the reviews out of the way. Let's get right into the main reason why you guys are here: trailer talks for Star Wars Episode 7, Episode 8, and Pacific Rim 2. Before we get started, I want to say that next week for trailer talks, we're going to be doing we're pretty much going to be doing a Marvel show, a Marvel trailer talks, discussing the new Infinity War trailer that comes out tomorrow. If you guys can watch it tomorrow, or if you want to wait till next Tuesday at 4.
We'll be showing it anyway here.
We'll be showing it anyways on trailer talks next week. We're going to be discussing that. We're going to be discussing Black Panther, and we're going to be discussing a third one. We're not sure yet. We have to do some digging around. If you guys know any Marvel movies that are going to be coming out next year or soon that we can do a trailer talk on, or any movie in general, let us know. Comment, message us. Oh, we could do the Wet on Wet trailer.
Yeah, we could either Deadpool or New Mutants.
Ooh. We'll discuss it. Well, for now, let's go right into... We're going to start off with Star Wars Force Awakens.
Should we start with Pacific Rim? That way we can just talk about Star Wars then. Because 8 might have some spoilers. In case people don't want to watch it.
Okay. Yeah. So, we'll start off with Pacific Rim 2, then we'll go into 7, and then if you guys want to stick around for Episode 8, the Episode 8 trailer, you can. If you don't, it's completely fine. I understand. I know people haven't watched the trailers yet because they're super pumped and they don't want anything spoiled or whatever. That's up to you guys. So, let's go ahead, jump right into Pacific Rim 2, Pacific Rim Uprising.
Our cities and the monsters we created to stop them. We thought we had sacrificed enough. But the war we thought we finished is just beginning. And the only thing standing in front of the apocalypse is us.
War ready. War ready.
But it doesn't matter where you came from, who believed in you and who didn't.
War ready. War ready.
This is our time. This is our chance to make a difference.
War ready. War ready.
Now let's get it done.
That's what I'm talking about.
In my focus, I wanna get it on till I die. In my focus, I wanna get it on till I die.
They've evolved, and they could wipe out all life.
Y'all remember me? Y'all remember me? In my focus, I wanna get it on till I die. Get it on till I die.
I think I could get used to this.
In my focus, I wanna get it on till I die.
There's something you need to see. Well, he's pretty big.
Fire everything you've got! Get it on till I die. Get it on till I die. Get it on till I die. Legendary, live for
What is a Jaeger? A Jaeger is the pinnacle of human invention. When the monsters came, we did not wait for heroes to fall from the sky and save us. We saved ourselves. Innovation is our superpower. What is a Jaeger? It's you, times 1,000. Tall as a mountain, with a beating heart that burns as bright as the sun. Enabling us all to become the most heroic version of ourselves.
Join the Boyega Uprising.
So, sorry about that last part. I forgot that was in there. So, yeah, that last part where it was like a whole new change thing. Apparently, he told me it's the teaser trailer.
Yeah, it was the teaser trailer that came out before the actual trailer came out.
Yeah. Sorry to headphone users. I keep forgetting to warn you guys about that. That is loud. I'm hoping by now that you guys have just kind of figured it out. So this movie takes place after the second movie. Obviously, the war is still going on between the monsters and the humans.
Kaiju and the Jaegers.
I still haven't seen the first one, dude.
It's a great movie.
I need to see the first one.
It's a really
My
good
biggest
movie.
thing was like when I first saw the trailer for it, I thought it was like a horror-ish kind of movie. So I was like,
I mean, I don't blame you because it's directed by Del Toro.
yeah, exactly.
So, and he's known for horror.
And the trailer itself just looked like a horror movie, and I'm like, I do not want to see that because I don't like horror movies. Yeah, I went and saw it because I care about you guys and I like you guys. Apparently, I like you guys enough to go see a horror movie. But I'll let you do a bit of the talking for what you think of this, due to the fact that you've seen the first one.
I'm ready. I am so ready for this. And yes, I am war ready. Yes, I just said that.
I don't know what that means.
Never mind.
I definitely am looking forward to this movie after seeing the trailer and all that. I do want to see this movie. I need to see the first one, I know. So I do plan to see the first movie before I go see this movie. I'll probably see the first movie same day. That way I have it fresh in my mind and all that. I like the visuals for this.
Yeah.
It looks like they're definitely
And honestly,
strong.
it's really weird. A lot of people are giving it criticism, saying how, oh, there's too much CGI. But this is my thing. You're doing a movie about robots versus giant monsters. How are you going to do that with practical effects?
Especially in today's day and age. Take note, this movie comes out in 2018. It's 2017 now. I'm guessing they've been done with the movie for a while.
In fact, this is actually really surprising because the first one actually didn't get a lot of its box office back.
Really?
It didn't do well in the box office. It was a good movie, but it was more like a cult hit. So the fact that this is actually happening is huge.
Yeah. Because a lot of movies, like, they don't make a sequel unless their box office is good. So
Right.
hearing this news, the fact that...
Yeah, this wasn't going to happen. People were crying out for it. And this is a good example of if you cry out enough,
They
might
will hear
happen.
you.
They will hear you, yeah.
So really, this is a matter of the fans wanted the movie. Even though it didn't do well in box offices, the people who made it kind of set that aside and gave the fans what they wanted.
Yeah.
And
honestly, I'm a huge fan of like mech suits and robot fights. Mm-hmm. Like, guilty pleasure, I love the Transformers movies. Shoot me if you will, but I love the Transformers movies. Not because of their story, but because I like robot action.
What story?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I did a review on the Last Night earlier this year. So if you guys want to check that out on the page, you can do so. Yeah, this movie, it looks like it's got some good talent in it. The CGI is definitely very strong in this movie, obviously, and there's nothing wrong with that, especially in today's day and age where CGI is such a strong factor for movies. It looks like this movie's going to be very good. I'm trying to remember the dialogue in this because, like I said, we don't have sound when we do these trailers.
I don't remember the dialogue, but what I will say is I love the soundtrack they chose for the trailer. Like, personally, I'm not someone who listens to a lot of rap. I don't really like rap, but I like this song.
Oh, yeah.
This song was great.
It seems like the music score for this movie should be relatively good. The action, I'm a little nervous about, because I know with a lot of movies, they show a lot of the action scenes in their trailers, and then they don't put them in.
Yeah, that is a bit concerning.
Yeah. So that's my biggest worry, is that that's going to happen. I hope it doesn't happen, but we don't know. We'll never know, really, until we go see it.
And good on John Boyega for, like, getting out of kind of the whole I'm only known for Star Wars kind of deal.
Oh, yeah,
a lot
definitely.
of times actors, that happens to them when they get on Star Wars, that's who they're known for, and that's the only thing they're known for. But John Boyega, he's getting out there.
Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
That's like their biggest role. I seriously can't think of any other role she's been in.
Neither can I, honestly.
Harrison Ford, he's famous for that role, but he's also famous for Indiana Jones. And then Mark Hamill. I think Mark Hamill, a lot of people think Star Wars last with Mark Hamill. I think they think of Joker first.
Yeah, I think so too.
So, I don't know, something on my finger. I don't know what's going on. So, this trailer looks like it's going to be very interesting. The movie looks like it's going to be taking a good route from the first movie. Again, I haven't seen, but that's just from my prediction. Going into this as somebody who's never seen the first movie, it looks like it would be taking a good step from the second movie, as well as it looks like it could definitely be its own standalone movie as well. Like if this was like the first movie rather than like having it be like a sequel, it looks like it could definitely be its own standalone movie.
And honestly, I kind of get that vibe too.
Yeah.
Like because we're dealing with new characters. The old characters seem to be older now, and they're like actually like part of the government thing.
Yeah.
So and they're bringing in new blood for the pilots, which is good. And like you said, it could stand alone as its own movie.
Or so we hope.
Yeah, and that's what I'm hoping too.
So I think I'm gonna give this trailer an A-.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's got everything that you can hope for in a movie. It doesn't really tell too much. I mean, it tells
all
enough.
it really tells is that they fight monsters for a little bit, then they fight each other. That's
and
all
then they fight this giant monster, which
Yeah.
I'm guessing is like a mix of like all three of those like other monsters that were there.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
I don't know. So yeah, we're gonna give this trailer an A-. So let's start going back into Star Wars again with The Force Awakens. This movie takes place several years after Episode 6.
I think it's like 30 years after the original trilogy.
Yeah, that was about right. And so there's a new cast, there's new everything. So rather than talking about it a bit more, let's go ahead and watch the trailer. If you haven't seen this movie already, it's been out for 2 years. Go see the movie.
The Force is strong in my family. My father has it. I have it. My sister has it. You have that power too. Chewie, we're home.
I remember that movie. I don't remember seeing it in theaters because I never saw it in theaters, but I remember that movie. So, obviously, this movie takes place several years later, as you can tell by Harrison Ford. And a lot of people, when that trailer came out and Harrison Ford appeared, so many people got hyped.
I was
Many
one
people
of them.
got so happy. I was one of them. Obviously, it doesn't really tell too much, as you can see in this movie or in this trailer. I don't know if this was the first trailer or the last trailer because
I think that was the last one. Second or last.
Because I couldn't find any of the other trailers. I found this one and it worked. So that's why I just had to work with. So this movie, or this trailer, like I said, it doesn't really tell you much for the story or anything that's going on in this movie, which is something that a lot of trailers, like I said in the last episode, that's the thing that a lot of trailers need to do, is just not tell a lot. Obviously, it tells that it's been several years since the original trilogy. It looks like the Empire's starting to rise back up from what it seems. I'm just gonna say this now. The visuals were amazing in that movie.
Oh yeah, they were top notch.
Now I'm gonna say this. I'm one of those guys that actually enjoyed Kylo Ren. For those of you who don't know who Kylo Ren is, he's the guy. He's the bad guy in the guy.
I like Kylo Ren too.
He's basically he is what Anakin Skywalker would be if he didn't become Darth Vader. If he didn't get all chopped up.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I see when I see Kylo Ren, is that he's the embodiment of what Anakin would have been like had he not been burnt up in the lava in Episode 3. And I love his lightsaber.
His lightsaber is really cool, and it's really creative too, honestly. Like, a lot of people are giving it crap. It's like, what do you want? It's a lightsaber that's taken more of a Western sword approach, rather than the Japanese katana that most lightsabers are.
My biggest worry with his lightsaber, though, is like, you're so limited to your movement.
Yeah.
And your, like,
and honestly, there's some lore stuff that covers why his lightsaber's like that, but if we review 7, we'll get into that then.
Yeah. That'll be...
Yeah.
So, that'll probably be the movie that I review the week before Episode 8.
Okay.
So, I'll let you know about that.
Okay.
But anyways, so obviously there's a whole new cast for this movie. There's some characters that get brought back. There's a lot that happens in this movie, or in this trailer specifically. Oh, hello. It's my wife. She's right there. There's a lot in this trailer that happens, and once again, there's not a lot that they tell you in this movie, aside from the fact that obviously they're bringing Star Wars back after so many years of not having a Star Wars movie. Because I think Episode 3 came out in like 2007, so it was like...
I think it was 05.
05?
I think it was 05, yeah.
05 or 07, so it's been like 8 to 10 years since they made a Star Wars movie in that time.
Crap, yeah.
Yeah?
I just put that together.
His mind just blew like the Death Star.
Yep.
So it definitely brings a new approach to Star Wars. I will say this. Going into this. After seeing the movie, discussing the trailer, it does look like it's kind of like A New Hope, where once again it does that world building kind of thing, because they're introducing their characters, they're introducing new stuff that's happened by this time. But since we're talking about it in a trailer perspective, it looks like it was a really good trailer. It didn't tell you much about anything at all. It showed a lot of new cool concepts. What do you think? I've been talking for a while.
I really enjoyed the trailer when I first watched it. Like, I watched it like 3 different times when it first came out, because when Han and Chewie walked, I'm like, no way.
Oh yeah, everybody's mind will...
And just the line, I still remember to this day, Chewie,
we're home.
And I'm just like, no fucking way.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Seeing that, it was just like, it was a beautiful sight.
Yeah, and they did a good job kind of showcasing just like, this is going to be a really fun ride for you guys. For the
definitely.
Audience. Like, they showed off a lot of kind of the action, not too much of the action sequences.
But just enough to kind of keep you on the edge of your seat, like, what's going to happen?
Yeah, and then one of the other moments that kind of made me go, holy crap, was when Phasma was walking down the hall in that metallic
Stormtrooper with the cloak.
With the cloak, I'm like,
that was awesome.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie, I was not expecting that to be a girl.
Neither was I, honestly.
Like, nobody was. And then I saw that, I was like, what?
Here's a fun fact for you guys. That's Brienne from Game of Thrones.
I don't watch Game of Thrones. I'm sorry, I don't watch Game of Thrones, so that's literally just a name to me. So, yeah, I think, given with everything for this trailer, what would you rate it on the letter grade?
That's hard. Because it's hard to grade, not because it's a bad trailer or I have mixed feelings about the trailer, but more like, I've seen the movie, and I know how it ends, and it's hard to kind of just rate the trailer on itself, given what I know about the movie.
To be honest, after rating it on just the trailer itself, I'm probably got to give it an A+.
A plus.
I think so, because I'm not thinking of this as after seeing the movie then going back to a trailer. I'm thinking of it as somebody who's never seen the movie before, watching this trailer, realizing after so many years that this movie, that they're bringing Star Wars back again to a newer generation, and the fact that like they don't tell you anything in the trailer, which is a huge thing for trailers, and you just see all this stuff happening and you're not sure what's happening, which is making you question for more, like with Ready Player One. That's what I'm going off of.
All right. I mean, thinking from that, yeah, I'd give it an A plus.
So Star Wars Force Awakens trailer, we're gonna give an A plus. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for the trailer that I think came out last week, or a trailer that came out last week. I just found a trailer. I don't know which trailer it is. I think it's like the newest one of the newer ones. I'm not entirely sure.
A little warning before we get into it, though. Before this trailer dropped, the director came out and said and warned people that it does contain spoilers. So just if you,
oh yeah, it does. We've seen the trailer.
And yes, we can confirm it does. So if you don't want to be spoiled with this trailer, then you've been warned now.
Yeah, we'll give you guys a second to kind of do whatever. We'll wait for the time clock to go a little while before we jump into this trailer.
I have an actual watch.
Kids, don't do that. It's bad. Don't do that. Wait till you're 18. Then you can do that. Alright, I think we've given enough time. So, without any ado, Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
When I found you, I saw raw, untamed power. And beyond that, something truly special.
Something inside me has always been there. But now it's awake. And I need help.
I've seen this raw strength only once before. It didn't scare me enough then. It does now. Let the past die. Kill it. If you have to. That's the only way to become what you were meant to be. We are the spark that'll light the fire that'll burn the First Order down. Come on! This is not going to go the way you think. Fulfill your destiny.
I need someone to show me my place in all this.
I still need to get my ticket for this movie. I need to get my ticket so bad for this movie. This movie is going to be... I'm very excited for this movie.
I am too. I'm going to drop a truth bomb, though. I'm very worried.
I'm very worried for one thing in particular. And I hope they don't do this. It's Episode 5.
I know.
That's what I'm worried
That's
about.
what I'm worried about, too. That's why I'm scared.
Because it follows literally everything that Episode 5 followed.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest worry.
Especially with that Walker scene. That was copy-paste right there.
Yeah.
And that's what worries me.
Yeah, after seeing this trailer, I'm concerned that it's going to be a remake of Episode 5 again. And if that's the case, if Episode 8 does become a remake of Episode 5, then Episode 9 isn't going to do as it's not going to be as strong.
I mean, my fear is that if it does follow episode 5 like to the letter, then no one will go see episode 9 because they're going to
predict what's going to happen next.
Exactly.
My biggest surprise was, and I don't think this is from what I've been reading and watching and listening, there's two things going around. Is that Rey is going to team up with Kylo Ren, because Kylo's been debating with his feelings, so Kylo's going to go good and they're basically going to say screw both sides and destroy both sides. 2 is that Rey actually joins the Sith and kills Luke. You can kind of see that from the scene with the rain falling when she gets out of the water and then Luke standing there.
That'd be an interesting twist, to be honest. I kind of hope they go with the second option.
Here's why they shouldn't go with the second option. And it's going back to something old, the hero's journey.
Yeah.
It's good. It would mess that up, and it would mess up number 9 to an extent. Again, to an extent, because if she does join the bad guys, that'd be very interesting to see, and that'd be a good ending, a good way to end that movie is her going to the dark side. But then it's a matter of they would just be repeating 6 if Kylo Ren and Rey go back to the good side, because then that's going back to Darth Vader going from the bad side to the good side.
Right.
So there's flaws with both ways. I'm hoping this isn't just a remake of Episode 5, but this movie looks amazing, visually beautiful, as always. Well, always. Like the newest
like
stuff.
if anything, one thing I am looking forward to, and I called this way before the movie was even announced, was Finn using the that vibro blade as his main weapon, and the fact that he's fighting Phasma.
That looks like it.
That's going to be a cool fight.
I'm excited for that. I do like the whole scar thing that Kylo's got going on.
Yeah,
it looks really cool, especially like the thing right here where it looks like silver plated kind of thing.
I was actually going to say it looks like kind of those foam puzzle things that you see in like kid places.
It looks like the front of Darth Vader's mask, like those little hole.
Oh yeah,
things. It looks like that. Obviously Carrie Fisher, from what it looks like, I don't think she's CGI'd. No, because they had to film this movie way before. So.
Yeah, she finished filming 8 before she passed.
So if she does stay alive in number 9, for some odd reason, she might. I don't know. If she stays alive in number 9, then she will be CGI'd.
I heard she did some parts of 9, but not. She didn't complete it.
Right. There is also a theory going around. It's literally just a theory. It's a fan theory that Kylo Ren and Rey are brother and sister.
I've heard that theory.
Of Han, Solo, and Leia. So it goes back to, if that happens, it's going to be repeating Episode 5.
See, this is the one I want to believe. I've heard the theory that Rey's a Kenobi.
Yep.
And I would be totally fine with that, because then it would finally become full circle. Because Kenobi trained Anakin, which is a Skywalker. Kenobi trained Skywalker again, which is, well, technically Luke. And then if I was going somewhere.
If Rey is a Kenobi, then Luke
Skywalker would be training Kenobi.
That'd be interesting. I don't think it'll be possible.
You don't think so?
I don't think so, because one, the whole thing about Obi-Wan having a lover, I don't think that's canon.
It is canon.
It is canon.
Clone Wars.
Oh.
Sedina Mandalore, yeah.
It is canon.
And then that would make...
But would it make sense to do timeline, though? Because if that happened in the Clone Wars, if she got pregnant during the Clone Wars...
Well, Kenobi and Sadine knew each other before Clone Wars. They were friends.
Okay, even still...
And...
It's the timeline,
yeah,
not a matter of
that's
too long.
That's the big thing that kind of dents it.
Oh, there is also the theory of... Well, there was the theory that she was a child of Juno from Rogue One. But that got debunked.
That's
so fast.
Yeah, that got debunked.
Yeah, that got debunked so fast. Like, it came up and it's gone.
Yeah.
So I want to see. I do want to see what happens with the whole relationship between her and Kylo, and her with Luke, especially with Mark Hamill's character. And again,
he looked terrified.
He looked scared as fuck. Plus, he's gotten older. You can definitely tell.
Yeah, and honestly, I kind of like bearded Luke.
Oh yeah, bearded Hamill is awesome. Hamill in general is awesome. So, seeing this trailer, I'm gonna have to give this trailer a B+ because, visually it looks beautiful. I'm still super excited to see this movie. However, going into this trailer and seeing this trailer, like firsthand when I went to see this trailer, knowing that was my worry then about it repeating episode 5 and still having that knowledge now, it still doesn't change the fact that that's my biggest worry, is that it's going to follow that. So I have to give it a B+, I think.
And I agree with your points on like the oh my god, my words. On the fear of it becoming like Empire Strikes Back, but honestly, because it had it spoiled quite a bit of
it did.
What's
that was another
happen.
thing why it's
I have to give it a C+.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be the pessimist here.
I'll agree with that because it's a very, very big spoiler trailer. So yeah, I think I'll agree with you on that one. I think I gave it a little bit too much generosity. So Star Wars: The Last Jedi trailer will give a C+. So that's it for our trailers. That's it for our review. We ran longer than last week, so that's a plus. But we had a lot to cover in this week. So thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate it. Next week we'll be back. I won't be doing a review this week because obviously I just did my review for 4, 5, and 6. Mm-hmm. So I just decided to fit it all at once. That way I don't have to do a review this week. I'll definitely have a review out next week. Not entirely sure on what yet. I'll figure it out. If you guys have any ideas for any movies that are out now or coming out soon, let me know in the comments here or on the page. Message me, put a post or whatever. Let me know what movies you want to see and whatever. And so then there's that. We'll be discussing the new Infinity War trailer, which I will definitely be watching tomorrow, guaranteed. I will probably, during my break at work tomorrow, I will be in the break room watching that, and then I will probably come out of the break room crying because of how beautiful it might look. My boss will ask me, why am I crying? And I'll be like, I saw the new Infinity War trailer. It's beautiful. I hope my main manager's working tomorrow with me because then she'll understand everything that I'm talking about. So, Infinity Wars, Black Panther, we'll be discussing if there's a new trailer for that next week. And then we're going to discuss whether we want to do New Mutants or Deadpool 2. Because Deadpool 2, we'll probably do the Wet on Wet trailer, which I'm guessing everybody has seen. It's a great trailer if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it, either wait and see it when you join us next week if we do decide to do it. We might end up doing it anyways. We might just do 4 trailers just for the heck of it.
That might be better, honestly, because there's a lot of discussion open for New Mutants, and I want to talk about that as well.
Okay. So yeah, okay. So then we'll do this. We'll do Black Panther. We'll do the new Infinity War trailer. We'll do the new Deadpool 2 Wet on Wet trailer, and then we'll do New Mutants. Mm-hmm. So that'll be next week's roster for you guys. We'll call it. I'll figure out the name for it like I did with this one. It's Marvel something. So thank you guys for joining us as always. This is Trailer Talks, and once again, this is Pop Culture Critics signing off. Bye.